Winston Churchill, hero or villain?
Tony Pandy, villain.
And of course, people can be heroes and villains, as the Beach Boys once so wisely sang. Take Gandhi, dedicated, pacific and unselfish, he sought independence for India. But he wasn't exactly woke when it came to his attitude towards African blacks. Or George Washington, incorruptible, founder of a great new democratic republic and the owner of a substantial number of slaves, decreeing they could not be freed until he and his wife had died. Then, of course, there's our very own Winston Churchill. His approach to strikers or Indians or race or the British Empire or Gallipoli or brandy with breakfast was hardly the stuff of heroes. But he was a hero, our hero, the world's hero, in 1940 and after, in our darkest hours. And the magnitude of his heroism, without which the world would surely have succumbed to tyranny, darkness and despair, overshadows his villainy elsewhere. He rallied a nation at the mercy of the Nazis, the greatest evil the world has known. He bought time, not just for Britain, but for the world. If we had crumbled, the full weight of the Nazi war machine would have been thrown at Russia, tilting the struggle against it. America could not have entered the war to liberate Europe, for these islands, kept free by Churchill, were the essential aircraft carrier which made liberation possible. He was put in power not by the Tories, who largely despised him at the time, but by Clement Attlee and the patriotic mainstream of the British Labour Party, who served with him in wartime coalition. Today's hard left are clearly not Churchill fans, but neither were they in 1940. They backed the Ribbentrop-Molotov Nazi-Soviet pact and were not overly enthusiastic about waging all-out war on what was then Uncle Joe Stalin's ally. Only in Hollywood films of old are heroes unblemished. Churchill had many blemishes, and they cannot be washed away. But when this country had dire need of a hero, he was there. There was nobody else. And he was heroic, like no Briton before or since.
But maybe to give another aspect to it, I mean, Churchill enabled Britain to stand alone against the Nazis, who slaughtered 6 million Jews, millions of Slavs, who went into Ukraine, who massacred populations, who took over all of Europe. So Churchill, I think, stands as a hero for standing up against all of that. There was a controversy about Tony Pandy in 1910 when
That's with the Welsh miners.
When I think a Welsh miner died, and there's a big doubt about the connection between Churchill and the Welsh miner who died, but a Welsh miner died. So we set that one life against the millions of lives that were destroyed by Hitler, and we think about Churchill. And then we try and weigh those in the balance, and we're John McDonnell, and we're asked a question, so we weigh the villainy of a miner who died in South Wales against the millions of people who were slaughtered by Hitler, and we say, was he a hero, Churchill, or was he a villain? Villain! I mean, he's just completely out of touch with the British public.